For over 2,000 years, one book has stood as the ultimate guide to strategy, leadership, and the art of war. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's not just for generals. Its wisdom has inspired emperors, entrepreneurs, and modern leaders alike. Here at China Tales, we bring that wisdom to life, not with lectures, but through timeless legends from ancient China. This is Stories of Strategy, learning Sun Tzu through legends. Let the journey begin. In the late spring and autumn period, the powerful state of Chu dominated the south, boasting vast lands, abundant resources, and hundreds of thousands of soldiers. It was seen as an undisputed hegemon. In contrast, the small state of Wu, located along the southeastern coast, had a limited population and far weaker national strength. It was barely noticed by the major powers of the Central Plains. But beneath Chu's apparent strength lay deep vulnerabilities. Years of warfare had drained the country, internal strife festered among nobles, governance was corrupt, and the people discontented. Meanwhile, after King Heilu of Wu ascended the throne, he vigorously reformed the state, appointing Wu Zixu as chancellor and Sun Wu, better known as Sun Tzu, as general. Under their guidance, Wu's military and administration were restructured, and national strength quietly rose. With Sun Tzu's counsel, Wu's leadership came to believe, through brilliant strategy, even a small state could defeat a great one. Sun Tzu and Wu Zixu devised a grand strategy: exhaust Chu, mislead Chu. The Wu army split into 3 divisions, launching round-the-clock raids along Chu's border, burning camps, cutting off supplies, feigning attacks, and quickly withdrawing. The constant harassment wore down Chu's forces, draining morale and resources. At the same time, Wu sent emissaries to the states of Tang and Chai, once vassals of Chu but now resentful of its tyranny. Wu successfully persuaded them to join an anti-Chu alliance. When Chu mobilized to attack Chai, Chai urgently requested Wu's aid. Wu saw its opportunity and decided the time to strike had come. The king of Chu, enraged, appointed Chancellor Nanghua to lead the counterattack and convened a war council. Veteran General Shen Yinshu advised caution.
Though the Wu army appears fierce, it is deep in enemy territory, far from home. We should divide our forces, hold the front and ambush them from the flank. Let them tire, then destroy them in one blow.
It was a wise plan: flank, delay, encircle. But Nanghua, arrogant and dismissive, scoffed.
Wu is but a barbarian tribe. Why should Chu stoop to tricks? We have 200,000 strong. We shall crush them in one decisive battle.
He rejected Shen Yinshu's counsel. No flanking, no ambush, only a full frontal clash. And so, he walked directly into Sun Tzu's trap. Sun Tzu had anticipated Chu's pride. He deployed a deceptive formation. Wu's main force arrayed boldly on the open plain at Boju, with drums and banners blazing, an imposing front. But the center was hollow, a ruse. The real strength lay hidden in the hills on both flanks, where elite troops waited in ambush. Sun Tzu explained to King Heilu,
Chu will see our front and charge it. Let them. What appears solid is hollow. What seems weak conceals strength. When they press into our false center, we will strike from the wings and crush them.
At dawn, the battlefield shrouded in mist, Sun Tzu ordered Prince Fugai, the king's brother, to lead 5,000 light troops on a surprise raid. They struck just as Chu was forming ranks. Caught unprepared, the Chu camp fell into chaos. Drums were silent, soldiers fled, formations collapsed. Nanghua had not yet issued a single order, and his army was already unraveling. Sun Tzu then commanded the Wu center to feign retreat, luring Chu deeper in. At that moment, the flanking forces burst from the hills, chariots thundering, arrows flying, crushing Chu's exposed sides. King Heilu personally led the main assault. Chu's army, attacked from front, flank, and rear, disintegrated. Nanghua fled in panic. Shen Yinshu could only watch helplessly. With morale soaring, the Wu army pursued the retreating enemy, winning successive battles at Qingfa and Yongxi. Before long, Wu marched straight into Chu's capital, Ying, modern-day Jiangling. King Zhao of Chu escaped into exile. The great state of Chu was brought to its knees. Wu, with just 30,000 men, had defeated an army of 200,000. It became one of the most iconic underdog victories in Chinese military history. The Battle of Boju was not merely a clash of arms. It was a live demonstration of the strategic truths found in Chapter 6 of Sun Tzu's Art of War, Illusion and Reality. Wu's victory over a vastly superior force was not won by brute strength, but by deception, speed, flexibility, and control of perception. Here are 5 timeless principles from the Art of War, each illustrated by a turning point in this campaign. Sun Tzu said,
"The nature of war is swift. Strike when the enemy is unprepared. Appear where you are least expected."
The Wu army launched its campaign with sudden speed. Answering Chai's plea for help, they advanced without warning, forcing Chu into a hasty response. At dawn, Sun Tzu ordered Prince Fugai's 5,000 to strike the enemy before they had even formed ranks. Chu's army collapsed into confusion before battle had truly begun. This was victory through surprise, seizing the initiative by acting faster than the enemy could think. Sun Tzu said,
Appear in a form the enemy must respond to. Remain formless yourself. Then you will be unified while the enemy is divided.
Sun Tzu positioned Wu's army boldly in the open, flaunting banners and drums to draw attention to the center, what seemed like the core of their force. But this formation was an illusion. The real power lay hidden on the flanks. Chu took the bait, focused on what it saw, and spread its forces accordingly. Wu, concentrated and focused, struck at a fragmented enemy. It was not a contest of strength, but of perception. Sun Tzu said,
When advancing, strike where the enemy is weak. When retreating, be too fast to catch.
Fugai's spearhead targeted Chu's unguarded front while its troops were still organizing. Then, as Chu surged forward, Wu's center gave ground deliberately, drawing them in. From both flanks, hidden forces surged out, trapping Chu in a pincer. Wu struck where the enemy was exposed, then vanished or reappeared too quickly to counter. Sun Tzu said,
Just as water shapes its course according to the terrain, a skilled army adapts to the enemy's weaknesses. Water avoids the high and flows to the low. Warfare avoids strength and strikes weakness.
Throughout the campaign, Sun Tzu let Chu's pride guide its downfall. He avoided direct confrontation with Chu's massive main force, and instead focused on luring them into overextension. Wu shifted like water, never clashing head-on, always adjusting position. This was not a static plan, but a dynamic flow, using terrain, tempo, and timing as weapons. Sun Tzu said,
The best attackers make it impossible for enemies to know where to defend. The best defenders make it impossible to know where to attack.
Chang never saw the real battle coming. They misread Wu's intentions, mistook displays for strength, and couldn't detect the true direction of attack. By the time they understood, they were surrounded. Sun Tzu's approach concealed not just strength or weakness, but intent itself. Invisibility was the real weapon. Boju was not a battle won by numbers or brute force. It was a masterpiece of strategy over strength, where Wu defeated a much larger foe by dictating the terms of perception and maneuver. As Sun Tzu said,
Victory is achieved by adapting to the enemy.
Wu's triumph came not in the clash itself, but in the space before it, where fear, overconfidence, and illusion did the work. In the art of war, to win without battle is the highest skill.